Let's mix this up. And the way I do this, I got Danny. I got to give credit to him because he's the one that come up with the idea of how to set these up, and I didn't do it, but I'll tell you, it's a lifesaver. Because if you put these together and try and get the glass straight on a stem without some help, it's not easy. And he came up with an idea that works really good, and I'll show it to you. If you've got to do any more than one of these, I'd make one. And this is the stem, and I'll hollow it out and show you how that goes, but let's get something in there first. Well, that's good. That's why you don't use super glue. It'll wipe right off.
Pour it like honey.
Do what?
Pour it like a honey dipper.
Yeah. The problem is I can't get it in with this owl. Now comes the neat part. Yeah, well, it's not cheating. It's just doing it the easy way. If you make one of these, the only thing you got to make sure is these two are parallel. Okay, that goes in there. That goes there. Well, I used to do it before I got this. I'd sit there and look at it, and it starts to set up, and you move it a little bit. You could be there all day, still never get it right.
They say it's great till they just about get hard, then they know.
Yeah.
Gary, I've also got a bullet level
Yeah.
round with a little air bubble in it, and if you mount that on a
Oh,
piece
yeah.
of plexiglass, and then you can nail it.
Yeah. Well, this works pretty good, and so we'll just set that aside and let that dry.
What kind of epoxy are you using here?
Just 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
It takes 10 minutes to dry.
Yeah.
That's done. All right, now let's, the first thing you got to do is you got to cut a glass. You got to cut the stem off, and a little bit about the design. The design I use is really kind of mimics a regular glass. I've seen a lot of people cut them, turn these, and they put, coves and everything on the stem. I've never seen a wine glass like that. They're all pretty smooth stem, and you want something that's comfortable in your hand. So that's first of all. Second, when you go to make this base already been measured to the size glass. So that's the size you need to make your base. And that works out real well. It keeps proportions good and everything, and that's worked out real well. And when you buy glasses, don't go down to the dollar store and get them. If you're going to put the work in, get a crystal glass, and you can buy them if you go to Home Goods, places like that. You can buy them for $20 for 6 of them. $18, $20. So it's not that bad, but it makes a big difference to have a good glass on there. We'll try and cut this. This will be the first one that's ever broke. But what I got here, I'll pass this around when I'm done, but this is what I use to cut it. And it's just a
Just a glass cutter.
just a glass cutter. Boom.
Holy cow, that was quick.
Yeah, and that's what I say, it works real good. Now, you usually have this little tail on it, because it'll break before you get all the way around. And I just take and run it on a disc sander, just knock it down, and then after that, I take a little bit of wet or dry sandpaper 220, and just go right around this very base right here, just a little bit, where you're gonna glue it in. I'll pass one around that's been done, so you can see what it looks like.
Gary, what was it you had clamped there? Is that a file?
No, it's a glass cutter, and I got it to where if I put the base up against one side, I got about the right distance I need to set this into
Okay.
the wood. And get that off. I'll pass that around. You can take a look at it. But every one I've ever made, I've cut with this. So.
You need it roughed up with the sandpaper to make it glue?
You know, I glued them up without being roughed up, and nothing's come out. So I think it'd be better to do it just to have a little something to grab hold of.
And you just rolled it on it?
Huh? I just turn it on there.
Okay.
Just turn it, pops right off, because you're going to have a little bit of pressure on it when you do it, and like I say, about halfway through, it's going to snap off. And I've never broke one yet. Everything's come out good, including that one. Didn't believe it. But now, let's see. I'll pass this around. This is what we're going to end up working with. Is these three pieces right here. This is the stem, and when you do a stem, first thing you do is mark the center on both ends. And you've got to do that, because when you don't, something's not going to come out straight when you get this all glued together. And this is just a little base that I put together so you guys can kind of see what we're going to work with, and then I'll get started turning the piece.
What's that thin material that is the color?
Okay, the separators I do out of veneer, and you need 2 plies no matter what you do. If you just do a white one or a black one or whatever, you do 2 plies and cross band them. For 2 reasons. It gives it more strength when you glue it up, because that's part of your stem. If it starts to break, it could break here. And the other option is if you God, it'll break there, but I don't know if you need to have those 2 layers or 3 layers, and you cross band them, and when you do, you'll get a lot stronger piece, and it's a lot harder to glue up, because normally you can take a long piece of veneer, 2 strips, glue them up, and cut them off, This you need to do it the hard way, but it makes a difference, and I glue them up the same way I glue up the glasses. I use the epoxy, and I got a press about this long, and I can stick, I'll have one long piece, and I'll take all the small pieces and cross band it all the way down, and then put it in a press. And that way you got, I think there's one on there so you can see what it looks like. But it does come out a lot stronger with the 2 pieces. Now what we're going to do is start with the base. And you'll see what the base is there. And this is what I start with for the base. The block, I just knock the corners off of it. And I glue it onto a block like this with a piece of paper so I can get it off. And this is going to be the bottom of it. And I'll reverse chuck it to do the top. But we're going to start with this. The base is glued to the block with a piece of paper in between. Start by getting it round.
kind of tool you're using here?
It's just a gouge, bowl gouge. That's good. It's just a 3/8 bowl gouge. All I'm doing now is just knocking off the bottom, get it smooth. I'll get in here and we'll start. This is the base. Now I'm going to first chuck this. In there.
Take that live center out, let the tail stop, so we don't rust the belt
I got so many calluses on my, right here from that, I can't get hurt anymore. All right, now, let's see where we're at. That'll be pretty close. All right, I use a skewer a lot, and I use it as a scraper for these pieces, and it works real well. So, what I need to do is I got to get this, just a dovetail in there where I can chuck this up. And what I do with this, the outside, this is going to be the base that sits on the table. What I do with that, I'll go ahead and just relieve the inside of that just a little bit. So really the only thing that's hitting the table is the outside edge, about that much of it. And it'll be about that wide, and I cut it down to about maybe 3/16, quarter of an inch on the outside. All right, that part, well, we got time, don't we? How much time we got?
Much time you need?
Well,
Or you got at least an hour.
okay, I'll go ahead and finish this. You ever buy sandpaper? This is the stuff to buy. It's gold, comes from Klingspor, and now you can't get it from them by ordering it, but if you're ever up there in North Carolina, stop at their store, and they have these bargain boxes, and they'll make you a bargain box out of this gold.
What's
But-
the name of the place?
Klingspor sandpaper, you're up in Hickory.
They have it in their catalog, rolls of it.
Yeah, they got rolls of it, but I'm saying you can get I buy 10-pound boxes of it. Scrap pieces that are 8-10 feet long out of the rolls that are left, and like their bargain box that they sell. But this stuff, I'll pass a piece of this around, you can see. It's done on Egyptian cotton, so it's really flexible. And you can get into places with it that you're not getting into with anything else. I've been finishing lately with this Parfix, and it seems to work pretty well. I haven't had much trouble with it. Haven't had any trouble with it, really. I'm gonna make that a little deeper. And I don't know if you've used Parfix. I know he uses it all the time. And it's really easy to use. A lot easier to use than super glue, because it don't set up on you. You can wipe it off. Just put a good coat on, is what I do, and let that sit for about a minute or so. And we'll see if this glass is working. I'll pass this around so you can see. That's like. I just got one. It sits there for 10 minutes. You can throw another one in. Just as long as it sets up enough, it ain't gonna move. You know, just pull one out and stick another one in. All right, take and wipe that off. And then what I usually do is put one more coat on. Just.
Gary, I was talking, what are you putting on now, 3408?
3408.
Okay.
Parfix.
By the way, if anyone ever wants to get some of those Parfix products, this gentleman right here, Mr. Thurman Mason, he sells them. He's a dealer for them. He lives in Sanford, so not far. Well, I mean, it's always good to find out where do you get, where do you get
Alright.
stuff.
And I use a little bit of accelerator. after that's set, you usually knock it down just a little bit with some 4/0 steel wool. Believe it or not, I finished this with hot wax now, and I don't know if you ever use hot. Has anybody ever used it? It's great stuff. I mean, for burnishing and polishing and stuff. I just get some on there. The key is you got to get it going fast enough that it melts when you go to take it off. And huh? H-U-T-T, hut. It's just a hard bar of wax. You can get it in 3 different colors. You get a light one, almost white, a light tan, and a black. And to do that, usually use a little Carnauba on it to finish out. Now they tell you, you're supposed to use their accelerator and Vonix to buff this, but I found this works pretty well. Let's see, let's take that off.
Use hot glue? What kind of, just paper?
Yeah, I use super glue. Super glue and a piece of paper.
Okay.
I'm gonna need that back.
Pass it like a hot potato.
We get this on there. Just sit it down. Okay, thank you.
Your hockey.
All right, reverse chuck this. I usually put a little tape on these jaws just to keep from messing this up too much. And so far, that's worked out pretty well. The only thing I do here is I clean up this top on here and drill a hole in it to mount the stem.
Hey, Gary,
Yeah,
quick question, if you didn't use the paper, what would happen? Would it just more difficult?
you can part it off.
But
You can just part it off.
it wouldn't split it very easily if you didn't use the paper?
It probably would, but you're going to take some fibers from one or the other, no matter what. You know, this way, I just take a piece of this regular printer paper and that's all you need. I still get stuff all over me when I turn. And I remember back in the 80s, we brought Mickelson over from, I guess, Northern Ireland. And he did a class for us, 3-day class. And he'd go around, I'd be turning, and he'd see me covered up. No, you gotta turn left-handed. I said, I don't turn left-handed. Gotta turn left-handed. Well, I got to where I could, but I still don't do it much anymore, so. But it is really the way to keep the stuff off you. And he was right. I give him credit for that. All right. Just drill a hole in that. That keeps everything pretty much centered.
How big's your drill bit?
1/4 inch.
Wind it out.
Wind it out.
And go up.
There you
There you go.
go. That was it. All right.
Do you have a mark on your kit so you know how far to go?
No. I just put it in. If I need to cut the dowel off, I do. And try not to go through the bottom. That's the key. All right, now this piece is all we're gonna do with this tonight, because I'm gonna turn, I've got one that's all glued up, and I'll just turn this piece so you can see how this goes, and I'll turn the stem so you can see how to do that. And then I'll turn one that's fully glued up. All right, now the stem, make sure that the piece that's going on that is square. So take a square, check it, both sides, make sure it's square. Mark the center on both pieces, both ends. Now we're going to start with the base. It's going to go into the base. The piece that's going to go in the base. And I'll just stick this in between the jaws. And where, you got a knockout? Is it down here?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, probably. Mine, you can't do that, so I'm used to knocking everything out. What I do, I put it in between the four jaws and just clamp it down like that. That's all you need, because you got this to stabilize it. And all I'm going to do is just turn it around.
You try to end up with the same height as the original glass there?
Now they usually end up a little higher because my base is higher. And I do the base high, and I usually try to start with 1-inch wood. And what that does, it gives a little bit of heft to the bottom of the glass, so you know it's a little more stable. Flip that around. Now, you can put it on the inside of the jaws, right on the base down here. At least, that's what's supposed to happen. Okay, goes there. One thing I didn't do is drill a hole in the end of it. But for time's sake, we'll just let it go like that. Pretend there's a hole in it when I pass it around. Both ends. I'm going to take the time to drill a hole. Okay. 100%. That's it. Now, there should be a hole in the end of that for the dowel, but I ain't gonna recheck everything and do that. All right, we're down to this. Get those two pieces turned, and you go ahead and glue it all up. A little bit of epoxy. This is what you're going to end up with.
Gary, you use a piece of dowel rod in there?
Yeah, it all depends. Yeah, well, I turn a dowel on the end of them sometimes, but this piece of wood I had was, if I would have done that, I lost a 1/4 inch in height, and I didn't want to do that. So sometimes I use a dowel. If I got a long enough piece of wood, I just turn a dowel on the end of it, stick it in there.
That's what I was gonna ask, just a dowel from.
Yeah, that's all you want. Yeah, just give you a little more strength in there, you know, and help align everything. But yeah, that's why I normally do it, but it's always interesting to see what it looks like when you start it up, how far it's out. It's very soft. Well, that's pretty good. I've had to wobble a lot more than that, but it doesn't matter because you're going to take quite a bit off of this top up here. So let's just turn that down just a little bit. And then we'll show you how to
Drill the pocket first.
yeah, I'm going to, I'm just gonna just make sure this is. I drill a hole just about I measure the end of the stem there, and that's how I start. I drill a hole that way first, and okay, now it's got to start. Now you got to kind of get it to conform to the glass a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, where's that glass?
How deep did you go just now?
It's over here.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, back to the skew. I just use it to kind of work in there, and I try to contour it a little bit. I'll leave a little bit on this outside. And because you can go ahead and we won't do that one. We'll use that. I told you I'd break one tonight. That wasn't the one I expected to break. All right, we'll use this one.
I took a spade bit and ground it down,
Yeah,
and then they're all the same every time.
yeah. Well, I get different glasses all the time, so that's the other problem. Okay, that'll work. Okay. Let's see now. We got that now. Yeah, that happens. There's usually enough sawdust all over my shop that nothing breaks when it hits the floor. All right, now let's start shaping this. Not yet. I'm gonna bag it up a little more, I think. Yeah, I don't work off of that. Okay. Let's see. Hate to cut through the stem. It's always a problem. A little bit there. There we got a little room left. All right. All right, it's got the stem. Now, start working on this piece down here on the base. sometimes you get down to this base down here where the separator is, you find you got to go a little farther than you think you have to. Not much, but a little bit. There'll be a little extra in there that you don't need, some glue sticking out or something.
Hey Gary,
Yeah,
can you talk about why you hold your tool all the way to sideways?
all the way to sideways.
Because it cuts close.
I mean, is it because you're more concerned about it staying on line when you cut? I mean,
He's talking about like this, you hold it like that versus like that
Oh,
to the piece. So you're going in like this.
yeah.
Why opposed to going in like this?
I was just wondering why you do that. I mean, is there a reason?
That's the way I've always cut. I don't know. There's no real reason. I mean,
Is there another way?
huh?
Is there another way?
I don't know. You know, whatever works.
Like this.
I've always been, yeah, I'm from the camp that whatever works, you know.
It's all cutting edge.
Yeah, like this, I could use it almost like a shear scrape. You know, when I go in like that, all I'm getting out of there is just like gossamer hair almost, and it's just real fine. You can see, you can go and look at the cut on that. I mean, it don't take much sanding. I don't know. That's the only. I've never had anybody ask me that before, so I don't know what to say.
I'm not, I mean,
No, I don't know. Yeah.
I was just curious if you had a reason.
No. Like I say, it's the way I've done it ever since God knows when. The last 30 years, I guess. Pretty close to that. What I like about this, you can roll this up real nice and get a real nice cone out of it to do concave places.
What grit do you sand that down to?
I usually go to 240, sometimes 320, but usually 240 will do it. Huh?
I've done those in champagne glasses and
Yeah.
in martini glasses.
Yeah. They, yeah, I mean, they really are, they're great gifts. And that is pretty much how you turn it. Now, I'll put a finish on it. And let's see.
How do you tell people to wash, how to wash the glass?
Huh? I tell them keep it out, keep the wood out of the, to begin with, out of the dishwasher, okay? That's the first thing. Second is, you know, just wash the glass, you know, wipe the stem, you know, with a damp rag or something. Okay. Tell you a little story about super glue. You know, you'll enjoy this. We were doing a off-site thing when we first started this guild. We used to meet at people's shops on Saturday and bring a few mini lathes or whatever, you know, and turn and stuff. I was doing little miniatures, stuff like that. And I had a bottle of super glue, a little bottle of super glue, you know, and couldn't get anything out of it and needed it, you know. So, man, I wonder if it's really open. Don't ever do that. I went like this, and I had my hair stuck to my hand. Oh, no. And, yeah, that's not, just not the thing to do. But it does happen. And it's quite embarrassing. More coat. We're about there. Minutes. Got any questions? Anybody got any questions?
How long is that stem blank? It has to be square, you say how dimensions.
Oh, the stem, it depends on, you know, I try to make them, you know, to where it fits your hand. And, you know, you make them tall, you make them slim. I made some taller, you know, I had some people want taller ones. I'm just thinking they're easier to knock over, but, you know, that's what they want.
Use the accelerator on that?
Yeah. 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 I'll just sit a minute and wipe it off, and I'll use some accelerator on it.
Still wet?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about Parfix. It's got like, what, 90 seconds? About 90-second working time, so it'll stay viscous for probably 90 minutes. So you can wipe it off. It's all wiped off. Yeah, that's pretty dry.
Do you still roll on that to smooth it back out?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you get this a little irregularities, you know, when you spray the accelerator on. But when you use this Parfix on here, it basically turns into a piece of ebony. I mean, you're more or less burnishing the wood more than anything else. Isn't that right?
It soaks in.
Yeah, it soaks in, you know, so that's why you can use the hut with it, and it works pretty well. So.
Carnauba wax is the same thing? Hot wax has carnauba in it.
Yeah.
We made two, one's attached and one's metal.
All right, let's see. All right. Good. Make a great Christmas gift, I'll tell you. Anybody who drinks wine. I used to drink a lot of wine, and then we went to Kentucky. I did the Bourbon Trail. Found out bourbon tasting a lot better than wine tasting.
You can drink bourbon out of wine.
Huh?
You can drink bourbon out of wine.
Yeah, you can.
Slowly.
I think that'll do it. Let's see. That'll work.
Stem is so narrow, you have to speed it up some more.
Okay.
To get going fast enough. Speed it fast with this line. Oh, yes, squeeze it.
Someone dropped this sure as hell. It's gonna go right in there. Didn't have to. All right. Good.
And you're saying again about the different colors. This ring you just did.
Yeah, that one's just black, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I glue them up, like I say,
You said you change the color so people can identify
right.
the
Yeah, there's a couple more wine glasses around here someplace. Here. This one here, it's got a white black. Black, white. And I do a white, black, white, or black, white, black, you know, just a plain white one and a plain black one for a set of 4. And
So you make all 4 different.
yeah, the only thing that's different is that separator there. Yeah.
So your guests will know which class is which during.
Yeah, until the first 2 drinks, that works. Yeah, after that, I don't know what they do after that.
Then you take the full.
Yeah. All right. Where's that glass I passed around to begin with? There's one right here. Okay. I got a question. Who here thought I was going to break a glass? You get a glass. You're the first one up.
Please let it show you.
Who thought I was going to Thank you, sir.
All right. Actually, I thought I was going to break a glass, but not like that. Any questions? Anybody got any questions? Anything we could come up with?
Have a comment.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the vinyl, what type of vinyl was that you used to put in between the glasses?
It's veneer,
Veneer.
Yeah.
Where did you get that? Here.
right there. You can get a white, you can get a black, and that's all you need. And I say, when you put it together, the grain's running this way, put it together like that, and then the next one goes like that. Crossband everything. For 2 reasons. one, you won't be able to drill a hole in it without it breaking in half. And the second reason is it gives it a lot more strength, kind of like plywood at that point.
Why don't you use wood glue? It's not strong.
It's just, it takes too long. Yeah. The 5-minute epoxy, you know, I can glue these up and be turning them in 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I'm always in a hurry, usually, so. Yeah.
If you sell one of these, how much you usually get
I usually get $50 a pair.
for a pair? It's a
Yeah,
set of 4.
no, it's a pair. $100 for a set of 4.
My granddaughter got engaged.
All right, any more questions for Gary?
Huh?
Hey,
Yeah.
let me say, in the past 6 weeks, I think I've been to 3 weddings. I haven't been to a wedding in a decade, all of a sudden. And for each one, I did similar products with champagne glasses, with toasting glasses for the bride and groom. And I etched the glass with their name and the date. And I had a captive ring in here, really cool certificate.
Yeah.
Just like the ring and the stem, now you two are
Yeah.
forever and always a part of each other, inseparable, or whatever. I could have given them a solid gold block, and they would not have been as crazy about it as these glasses. It was a great, great gift to get.
When my granddaughter got engaged, I told her I'd make champagne glasses for them to drink their wedding toast.
Yes.
So then she came back and said, can you make them for the wedding party?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I've been down that road too.
Well, something that's interesting about this is I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. As wood turners, we need to be problem solvers. We need to kind of think through. We actually have to think sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of what we're doing. And what's interesting is if we took one of those wine glasses and just showed it to everybody and you went and did this project, we would probably all come up with different ways to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
None of them are wrong, and none of them, you know, it's just whatever you learn, and it's, but what's really cool from this too is even if we don't make a wine glass or a stem for a wine glass, there's all sorts of different techniques and principles that you saw here that you can apply to different things. If you're turning a pen, if you're laminating pieces together, you want to give an accent to two pieces you're laminating, and the finishing, and it's really great to be able to see a demo like this. I think we need to give Gary a big round of applause.
Anybody want a kit?
Gary, as a token of our appreciation.
Oh, thank you.
All right, guys, remember, we've got.
Does anybody want a kit?
Coming up in 2 weeks, the 4th and 5th, and the trees are going to be on display at the Art Museum, the Orlando Art Museum, the 10th through the 19th of November. Okay? Because these are auctioned off, and at the, so right before Thanksgiving, they get delivered to the people and the businesses that win those auctions. So it's only a little window to go see them, and it's really worth it because it's
Maybe
pretty
on that
spectacular.
table. It's over there on
The
that
entire
table.
museum Filled with trees and wreaths, and it's pretty beautiful. Thank you guys, and if you don't mind, if we can grab your chair, and we're gonna get those all rounded up.
One more thing. Anybody want a kit?
Hold on.
Anybody want a kit to work on? No. You want it? Come here. Yeah. Here you go. All right, buddy.
Gary, where do you say you buy your glasses?
I buy them at Home Goods or any number of places. Wherever they're cheap, you know. But Home Goods is good for it. Good, thank you. Thanks, Gary.